When I was in my late teens, I attended various Tony Robbins events, and a big thing that Tony talks about is the importance of overcoming limiting beliefs. And at the time, naively, I wasn't quite aware of what limiting beliefs I had. I probably wasn't too clear on what limiting beliefs were. And as I've progressed through business over the last 10 years since, in order for me to continue to progress, I've constantly had to overcome belief systems that weren't necessarily serving me. And so in this video, I want to talk about what are limiting beliefs, the importance of having the right belief systems in your life, and things that have worked for me in order to overcome limiting beliefs and replace them with more empowering belief systems. If you've seen my previous video, I talked about in order to achieve your goals, you need to think less about what you need to do and more about who you need to become. And the main principle of that video was who you are now and the version of yourself that's achieving all of the things you desire are two totally different people. They are not the same person. And that future version of yourself that is achieving all of these things you desire, they have different skill sets and habits. They exist in a different environment. They have different habits and behaviors, different character traits. And importantly, is they have different belief systems. And one thing that I've implemented in my life is I've replaced the word beliefs or I believe to I assume or assumptions, because we can believe something to be true that isn't necessarily true. A belief system or a belief is just a feeling of certainty about something that we believe to be true. And you can believe something that isn't necessarily true. There are, many examples of this. And so these belief systems that you have, without you probably realizing, are completely controlling your life. They control how you think, how you feel, what you see, what you experience, and ultimately, they control your reality. They control your entire world and the paradigm that you exist in. And so the reason having the right belief systems is very important is because whatever you believe to be true, you will constantly find evidence to support that belief. It's just the way humans are wired. It's a little bit to do with the consistency bias. And we've all heard the famous quote from the Bible, "Seek and you shall find." If you believe something to be true, you will seek out evidence to justify and confirm that belief system. And so if you have belief systems that aren't serving you, you're going to look for evidence to support that belief and support what you believe to be true, which might not necessarily be serving you in a positive way. And now, to keep it simple, these belief systems, they can either be about the internal or the external. The external is things you believe to be true about the external world, about other people, about life, about the universe, and we call that your world view, which is another word for your paradigm. It's what you believe to be true about the world around you and your reality. And secondly, these beliefs can be about the internal, which is about you. It's what you believe to be true about yourself, and we call that your identity. Your identity is simply what you believe to be true about who you are. And building on from that, these beliefs, like I say, can either be empowering belief systems, which support you and build you and empower you, or they can be limiting beliefs, which hold you back and don't serve you in a way that is true to what you truly want to achieve in life. So they can either create or they can destroy. And so whatever you believe to be true is ultimately going to affect your actions, and then your actions are going to dictate the decisions you make, of course, your habits, your behaviors, everything else, which is going to affect the direction that you go on in life. And so what we constantly need to be doing is identifying what belief systems aren't serving you and either eliminate them or replace them with more empowering belief systems that do build you up. So let me give you some examples, because like I said, whatever you believe to be true, you're going to find evidence to support that. And a really amazing quote that Tony Robbins says, which I love, is what's right is always available to us and what's wrong is always available to us. If you constantly look for what's right, you're going to find things that are right. If you constantly look for things that are wrong, you're constantly going to find things that are wrong. So let's say person A believes that it's impossible for him to get into property because he's got no money and you need money to get into property, and therefore the actions he's going to take as a byproduct of that belief is he's not going to attend any seminars, any workshops, attend any courses. He's not going to try and get in proximity with people that have success in property. And anyone that tries to tell him that it is possible for him to get into property, he's just going to say, no, that's a scam, because that's his belief system. Anyone trying to promise that he can be successful with the very few resources that he has is just trying to scam him and isn't true. Whereas person B, his belief system is that there is always opportunity. There is always a way to succeed. And so he thinks, even though I don't have much capital myself, he has a belief system that there's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of opportunity out there. It's up to him to go and find that opportunity. And he goes, attends networking events. He goes and finds people that has the success that he wants. And he realizes that, okay, although I don't have the resources myself, I can find people with the resources. I can find joint venture partners. I can find investors, and maybe I can sell deals to and make money that way. And so the same two people exist in the same different reality, except they don't, because they have different belief systems and a different world view. They get two entirely different results. And so hopefully you can begin to see why having belief systems that aren't serving you can be holding you back. Whereas person B, who had empowering belief systems, they served him because he believed there's more opportunity than ever before. He believed there's more money out there, there's always opportunity, there's always a way, and there's no excuse. And like a side point on this, an important thing with belief systems is all of our beliefs are programmed into us. Predominantly, they could be from family growing up, because they're kind of the first and main role models we have in our life. It could be from things we see on social media. It could be things we hear and see from friends. And we just decide which ones we choose to adopt and which beliefs we choose to hold on to. And like I said at the start of this video, we question all of our beliefs except for those we truly believe. So hopefully now when you catch yourself saying statements of things that are an absolute truth, like, oh, you can't do this because of X. If you say, oh no, that's impossible. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh, I can't do this because of X. Just take a moment to reflect and think, is this true? Or have I just adopted this belief system and convinced myself that it's true? And is there maybe an alternative to this? Is there another side of that belief? So coming on to your identity is what you believe to be true about yourself. There's something called the consistency bias, which is very similar to what Tony Robbins says, that the most powerful force in the human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we identify ourselves. And that's even if we identify ourselves as something negative. It's the difference between saying something stupid, doing something stupid, and believing you are stupid. An example of this is if you believe yourself to be someone that's not confident, you are constantly going to find evidence and behave in a way that supports this belief. You're constantly going to be telling yourself, oh, I'm not that confident because of X. And you're going to behave that way. So you're going to become self-fulfilling. And an even more profound example of this is in this generation now, we have men that identify as women and women that identify as men, and men or women that identify as penguins or however many different things there are you can identify as now. And they believe that to be true about themselves. That is what they believe to be true about their reality. And therefore, they want to make sure their behaviors and their actions are consistent with their identity. Because that is an extreme example, but it happens on a very minor scale as well. And so the way to get clear on your identity and what you believe to be true about yourself, but also about your world and your worldview, is to listen closely to your language patterns. What things are you saying to yourself, either out loud or in your own head, that you're saying as statements or things you believe to be true about yourself and about the world? And when you say them, like I say, take a moment to reflect and really reconsider, is there another side to this? When I say, oh, I'm not a confident person, is that true? Is that something I've just told myself enough times, or I believe it to be true, and now I've adapted my behavior, my actions to match that? If I start telling myself I'm actually a very confident person, then you tell yourself that and you begin to believe it, eventually you're going to start acting in a way that is consistent with that. And so some examples on replacing your limiting beliefs. If you believe there is no opportunity in the world, you're constantly going to find evidence to support the fact there's no opportunity, and you're not going to take any action to look for opportunity. If you believe that there is more opportunity now than ever before, you want to seek out opportunity, you're going to find opportunity, and ultimately you're going to be able to create opportunity. If you believe that politicians control your life and your life is determined by whichever political party is in power, then that is going to affect the way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave. Whereas if your belief system is, you know what, it doesn't matter who's in government, I'm 100% responsible for my income, my quality of life, and where I live, how I live, etc., then you're going to have a much more empowering and happy life. And you're going to totally ignore what's happening in politics, and you go and take responsibility for your actions, and you're not going to be blaming others for you're not having the income that you deserve. Another good example is you might have the belief that if I post content online, there are going to be these people that judge me. That's a limiting belief. The empowering belief system to replace that is that I am not going to let 1, 2, or 3 people that judge me negatively stop me from making a bigger impact on my life and on the world by sharing the things I wanted to share on social media to promote myself, to promote my business in order for me to achieve my goals. Or another alternative to that is a belief system could be, I don't mind getting 3, 4, 5 haters if it means I can impact 50, 100, 150 people. And so these belief systems you have that aren't serving you, you have to find new belief systems to replace them. You could have the limiting belief that I don't have enough money and therefore you're not going to take action. You could have the other belief system that although I don't have money, there is more money out there than ever before. They're only printing more. It's my job to get resourceful, to go and provide value to people so that I can create some abundance and create some wealth and some money for myself. Another belief system I've spoken about on a YouTube video before is some people might think as a limiting belief, I'm not good enough or I can't do it. A really empowering belief system you can have is that what one man can do, I can do. And if they can do it and they're not hyper intellectual, gifted being with a high IQ that I can't compete with, if they can do it, there's no reason why I can do it because I've got access to the same information, the same resources, and the playing field has never been so level with the rise of the internet, social media, and access to information. And another belief that I hold true, which is like such a simple one, but has served me so well, is I just believe there is always a way. Some people think, oh, that's impossible. You can't do that. The word impossible is completely removed from my language. I believe that there is always a way. There is always a way. And people tell me, oh, you can't do that. It actually drives me even further to find a solution and find a way. Another belief system I hold true is that I believe there are at least 3 solutions to every problem. So when I come across a problem in my life, my default thinking is, well, what are the 3 possible solutions to this problem? And when you ask yourself that question, your brain is forced to come up with answers. Rather than just being crippled by the problem and not focusing on the solution, immediately I'm defaulting to the idea that there are 3 solutions to this problem. I believe that with every bone in my body, it's down to me to find out what those 3 solutions are and pick whichever one is best. And so really the 4 steps to change your beliefs is 1, identify which limiting beliefs you have that aren't serving you. Number 2 is to start by questioning these beliefs. And then step 3 is to create a new empowering belief system that replaces that limiting belief and find evidence to support this new belief system. And step 4 is then constantly condition your mind, remind yourself through affirmations, just saying it to yourself, writing in your notes what this new perspective, this new belief system is. And if you condition your mind, you'll eventually believe your new empowering belief system. You'll believe it to be true, and it will serve you far more than the previous limiting belief that you had. And so that's all for this video, guys. It's quite a deep topic, but I think it's really, really important if you want to progress. And to be constantly identifying your limiting beliefs is sometimes you have to go to the deep, dark depths of your mind. But in order to get to that next level, enter that new paradigm, to evolve your identity, it's something that has to be done. So get out a notepad and pen, try and identify your limiting beliefs. If you need any help with any belief systems you think you have that aren't serving you and want a new perspective or maybe an empowering belief system that you could replace it with, drop them in the comments below. Would love to help. As always, see you guys on the next video.